I have always wanted to be a magician. I think it's because, as a child, I was on an endless diet of fantasy novels and compendiums. I loved the Land of Oz's eclectic cast of beings, Roald Dahl's tricksiness, Andrew Lang's fairy tales, the Daulaire's illustrated myths. I didn't read fantasy to escape the real world, but to bring magic into it. There were lunch times I spent staring with desperate concentration at apples and pencils, daring them to move with all of my will until I got tunnel vision and a headache. Once I was home, an unsuspecting passerby glancing into our driveway would have seen me spinning a broomstick, my magic wand, and hoping that some goblins would come popping out of the shadows for me to thwart. When I started learning my first instrument, the violin, I came to prefer humming the pieces while whisking myself through enchanted woods to the practicing itself. The lessons became stifling. I would yearn to get in the car and read my way home. Later, I tried starting from scratch on piano. For years, the story was just the same. The years spent at home during the pandemic, I only went deeper into my head. There was nothing to do but tell myself stories of secret sorcery societies and lost artifacts. But when I returned to campus at the end of 8th grade, the lights came up, and it was time to trade the imagined worlds of the past for the promise of high school. Suddenly, there were auditions and training and opportunities on the horizon, and it was exciting, sure. But it came with a cold shock, which sank into certainty as the time for reading and daydreaming dwindled away. It was time, I knew, to give up on magic. I was coming to terms with this realization when I watched Richard Linklater's coming-of-age epic, Boyhood. And there's a scene where the boy asks his father if there's any real magic in the world, elves and stuff. Rather than elves, the father says, think of a whale, something that speaks in sonar and sings songs, something so big that its heart was the size of a car and you could crawl through the arteries. That's pretty magical. Struck by that line, I started wondering if maybe not that much had changed since the days yearning for supernatural abilities. I first started seeing the magic again while practicing jazz piano. I had just had the chance to improvise with some professionals, but quickly realized I was in way over my head. Those alchemists were brewing something far beyond my abilities. It was a mortifying moment, but soon after, the chore of practicing was transfigured into something new, uncovering jazz musicians' magical shared intuition. I've learned how to join a jam at the drop of a hat, read minds, respond to the call of rhythm and phrase, and there are still so many magical musical powers left to discover. Soon I started recognizing the magic in everything I do, shape-shifting on stage, like in Footloose, and I played a man 30 years my senior, burdened by pains I had never known. Some audience members told me that they'd hated the severe old man on stage and had to remind themselves that I was in high school. Others said I'd brought them to tears. Commanding a marching band with incantations of left face and mark time, surely that is nothing short of wizardry. Now I spin a mace in a stadium, and it's just as magical as that broomstick in my driveway. In calculus, performing miracles with every pencil scratch, harnessing the beast of infinity to my will. I went to Kyrgyzstan and shared stories and made people laugh across the language barrier, teaching my first grade Sunday school class and relearning childhood wisdom. The quest for magic is only just beginning. I'm ready to cast the next spell. Thank you.